So I want you to think about someone specific in your life for a second. You know, that person who just like never asks for help.
Right, the one we usually assume is just fiercely independent.
Exactly. But what if the strongest walls you will ever meet aren't actually built to keep people out? What if they were built by someone who let a person in exactly once and it just cost them everything?
I mean, that completely reframes how we view independence, right? It's not this lack of needing help. It's a permanent rule they wrote because asking for help went disastrously wrong.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we are getting into today. In this deep dive, we are taking a stack of psychological character analyses and applying them to three of the most fiercely guarded figures in anime. We're talking about Robin, Law, and Zoro.
It is such a fascinating lens to use. Their backstories basically give us a magnifying glass on how trauma just completely rewrites our approach to relationships.
The evidence here is just brutal. I mean, you have Robin, who spends her entire childhood being hunted just for existing. She watches literally every single adult who tries to protect her die for it.
Right, she learns with this horrible consistency that closeness gets people killed.
Yeah. And then there's a Law, who loses an entire found family to a literal genocide before he can even, like, process what that word means.
So he spends years afterward attaching to absolutely nothing, because the internal logic becomes, well, nothing you don't attach to can be taken from you.
Exactly. And Zoro makes this one promise to a dying childhood friend to become the world's greatest swordsman. And he folds that promise so deep into his identity that any sense of need or softness or asking for anything, it just gets erased.
It really is three entirely different childhoods leading to one identical adult conclusion. Needing someone is exactly how you lose them.
It's like they built a massive fortress and then they just permanently bricked up the front gate.
Yeah.
You know, they don't hate having visitors. They just remember that the last time they opened the gate, the entire castle burned down.
I love that analogy, because the crazy part is the architect bricking up that gate isn't even their conscious mind. It's their nervous system.
Wait, really? So it's biological?
Yeah, we are looking at a textbook adult expression of an avoidant attachment style. It forms because an early, overwhelming experience taught their nervous system that connection is inherently dangerous.
Okay, so if I'm Zorro or Robin, I'm not waking up and actively deciding to be distant from people.
No, not at all. Avoidant attachment isn't coldness. It is an incredibly sophisticated form of self-protection. When someone tries to get close, their brain doesn't register friendship. It triggers a literal fight-or-flight threat response.
Wow, so the body pushes people away before the conscious mind even gets a vote.
Exactly. The defense system got installed way too early to be examined, let alone questioned.
But, I mean, if the body is automatically locking the gate to keep them safe, aren't they just trapping themselves inside? Isn't the cure worse than the disease at that point?
The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard would actually argue yes. He wrote that to love is to risk despair.
Right, because when you love anything, you are agreeing in advance to the possibility of losing it.
Which is terrifying, and the only way to avoid that risk entirely is to never really love anything. Which Kierkegaard considered a far worse fate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Robin, Law, and Zorro all chose armor over risk early on.
They did. But the beauty of their story is that the narrative doesn't punish them for it. It slowly, patiently gives them a crew, a found family that proves the old rule wrong.
One act of loyalty at a time. It's so good. So I want to bring this back to you listening right now. Is there someone in your life who never asks for anything? And have you ever wondered what it would take for them to actually let you in?
Or maybe you are that person. And if you are, the takeaway here is not that you have to overhaul the wall this week. That is way too overwhelming.
Yeah, don't do that. Just start small.
Right. Just pick one person. Let them help you with one small thing you would normally handle alone. That is the entire rep.
That is such great advice. It really comes down to a core quote from our sources today that I just cannot shake. People who never ask for help aren't strong. They're just still protecting themselves from the one time they did and it wasn't safe. So I will leave you with this to ponder. Who in your own life might you be completely misunderstanding right now?